Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, the Centrovert. Thank you for tuning in. I know it's a crazy situation that's continuing in the world right now. So if you're into fragrances, and I hope these videos I'm going to be putting up in the next little while, I'm hoping that there'll be an adequate distraction for you. Okay, so in today's video, what we're going to discuss is 3 different fragrances. The first 2 are clones of 2 very popular high-end designer or niche type houses. And then the last fragrance I'm going to talk about, if you stick to the end, is going to be sort of a hidden. It's not too hidden, but it's definitely not talked about as much as you would hope if you're into this fragrance. And it's definitely an inexpensive gem. Okay, so we're gonna just start right now with the clone houses. We do a little bit of a discussion. Okay, so you've probably, if you've been, on online discounters or even looking to buy clones of Tom Ford fragrances and Joe Malone fragrances, that you probably have heard of these 2 clone brands, Jenny Glow and Just Jack. Okay, so I'm gonna go one by one. I'm gonna first do the Tom Ford clone house called Just Jack. Now, specifically this fragrance, which is called Black is Black, is supposed to be a clone of Tom Ford's Noir de Noir. And before we get into this actually any further, this is not going to be a video about what I think about the idea of clone houses or designer brands or brands in general that try to clone fragrances that were done by other fragrance houses. In terms of my opinion on that, I'm not going to put that in this video. I'll probably create a separate video for that. But I just wanted to bring attention to these 2 brands in case anybody has been looking at them and wondering, if they're any good or not. Okay, so in terms of this brand right here, Just Jack, I think it's important to note. Maybe some of you have already seen this already, but it's very important to note this. Okay, see that? Just Jack. And it says, if you can see that, MFD by Sterling Perfumes. Okay, so I guess that means manufactured by Sterling Perfume. Okay, and then if you look at ingredients there, Sterling International, Denham, Middleborough, England. Okay, so it's England, and yeah, you see that it gives you the batch code, date it was produced, and expiry date. And it says, look where it says made in France. Okay, so for those that don't know, Sterling, that brand owns the Armaf, popular Armaf or established Armaf brand, which is, I believe, originally created in Middle East. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this I guess conglomerate or holding company or whatever you want to call it, corporation, is the one that's distributing or manufacturing this brand's product. So if you want to talk about how you would view this fragrance right off the bat, you should be thinking that, okay, in terms of quality, you should be thinking about this fragrance in comparison with the quality of the later releases from the house of Armaf. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, so now let me just show you the packaging now and the bottle. As you can see, it was a slide out type package, and it's actually not bad for what it is. And I have to say too, the bottle, it feels really good in the hand. And it definitely reminds you, I guess, of them trying to copy those type of textures of the Tom Ford bottles from the signature line. It's kind of the same feel of that. So the bottle itself feels really good. Okay. However, just one thing to note, there is leakage on the top there. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, it kind of leaks. I don't know what's causing that. And you can see there's actually some liquid and things like that in the cap. So I don't know if the cap design is quite poor in terms of it matching properly with the atomizer, but I think it's such that when you put it on, it's actually depressing or pressing down the atomizer a little bit, causing it to spray out some of the fragrance on the inside, and you'll see that it might leak. So keep that in mind in terms of the releases from this brand. Let me just show you the sprayer real quick. Okay. The sprayer is not bad. Okay, definitely can't complain about that. Okay, but let's talk about the smell now of this fragrance, which this specifically is like I said, the clone of Tom Ford's Noir de Noir. Off the bat, let me just say this. There is no alcohol burn off to my nose. Okay, and that's the first thing. Number two, scent-wise, quality of scent-wise, the smell, I would say it's at least 95, perhaps even 98% similar in terms of smell in compared with the real or the original brand's product of Tom Ford Noir de Noir. This fragrance, in terms of quality comparison to Noir de Noir, this smell is like the smell of Noir de Noir in 2D, while Noir de Noir itself is 3D. You can just feel the texture jumping out of your skin, right? And it just feels like it's not, I wouldn't say atmospheric, but it just jumps off your skin, and you can just feel the different notes, and it really just envelops your senses. Whereas this, the smell is spot on comparison wise, but it just feels a little bit flat, like it's not jumping off your skin the same way. So there definitely is a difference in quality, but for the price that you're paying for this, and I believe this is 100 ml. Let me just check the bottle. Yeah, it's eau de parfum and it's 100 ml. And you know, in terms of price, you can get this. I paid about $33 Canadian. Okay, obviously in American it's gonna be less. So for the price, I would say it's definitely a good deal if you are in to Tom Ford fragrances and you don't want to pay the very high Tom Ford prices. This house, which is basically affiliated with the House of Armaf, this house and their whole lineup of clones of Tom Ford fragrances, and they pretty much have almost all of them, or all the popular ones anyways. This house, I would say, is definitely adequate if that's what you're looking for. Okay, let me just say that off the top of the bat. And in terms of performance, this thing performs very well. I'm smelling it right now. I've worn it a couple of times. This thing will last at least a full working day. I wouldn't say that it's definitely present, and it would project for, I would say, like at least a feet, but it's not something that's gonna fill a room. So you're not gonna choke people out, which is a good thing. But in terms of longevity, this thing's gonna last you at least a work day. So in terms of that, in terms of performance, for the price, you definitely can't complain about this fragrance. The only thing, as I stated, is that if you're expecting Tom Ford quality in terms of the scent really having this texture, 3D texture to it, you're not gonna get that with this clone. Okay, so that's the clone house of Just Jack. If you're interested in this house, I bought this from fragrancebuy.ca. That's the only online discount that I know of that I personally use that has this brand in stock. And as far as I know, I think they ship to the US. I'm not sure if they ship overseas. For overseas, I'm sure you can check those other popular discount sites. If you're in, Asia, I don't know if Take It Today might be something that has this in stock. I don't know, but you can look into it. Okay, so that's Just Jack. Okay, so the other clone house, which I'll show you again, is actually affiliated with Armoff, is Jenny Glow. Okay, now this one I bought is one that I think I'm gonna keep because I've been looking for a fresh based oud scent, and I know the original the scent that this is trying to clone, which is Joe Malone's Oud Bergamot. That is, in my opinion, one of the very few fresh oud based scents on the market. Okay, and I've always wanted to get that, but that scent is very expensive. So this Jenny Glow, which I'll show you again where it's manufactured. Boom, you see that? Again, the Sterling Perfume logo. Same thing as Just Jack. They are manufactured by them, distributed by them, I believe. Again, but with those two brands though, I don't know where they're based. I don't think they're based in the Middle East or anything like that. I think they might be European, and then I guess they're using this distributor or corporation for manufacturing and distribution. I'm not sure about that entirely, but I could probably confirm that, put down in the description if I do find out about that. But it's the same thing with this brand as it is with Just Jack. It's distributed by Sterling Perfume, so it's affiliated with the Armoff brand, and you should definitely look at them the same way you would look at Armoff in terms of quality of fragrances. Yes, and it is this as you can see here is made in France as well. But again, this thing right now, when you buy this, and I bought this again from fragrancebuy.ca, it actually comes with, as you can see here, the eau de parfum, but also a scented candle. So this box right here is literally the size of a shoebox. And let me just show you how this thing is right now. What's in here? Look at this. Look at the presentation on this. Right? Like this is the large ass scented candle. Let me just show you what that looks like. And this thing is like, it's heavy, by the way. Yeah, and you see here, you got a scented candle right there. Yeah, this thing's heavy. And here, obviously, is the fragrance, which I'll take out, put it right there for you. Okay. So in terms of quality of scent now, well, first let me just talk about the presentation here. I actually think the brand Just Jack, their bottles are better overall in terms of feel, how they feel in your hand, the quality of them. This one, it just seems very plain. On top of that, the sticker here, and it is a sticker. You can, I don't know if you could hear that. Yeah, I don't know if you could hear that noise, but it's not, it doesn't feel like it's securely sticked on. Like I feel like I could just easily rip it out and it would fall off very easily. But in terms of the cap, I don't know if you can see that. It has the Jenny Glow, yeah, Jenny Glow engraved there on the cap. And the sprayer, and there's no leakage here, okay, unlike the Just Jack brand. But let me just show you the sprayer on this one. I think that actually, the sprayer on this is actually very good, better than the Just Jack sprayer I showed you. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that. I mean, it doesn't look that strong, but when you feel it in your hand how it sprays, yeah, it actually has almost a similar sprayer to Guerlain, the Guerlain, I think it's, yeah, the Guerlain Ideal collection. And in terms of the smell, I would say again 95-98% similar to the Real Thin. And it lasts, in terms of performance, it will last you a whole workday. It's not, I wouldn't say it's a room filler, but in terms of performance and projection in the first hour, it definitely radiates within 1 foot or feet of yourself. Okay, and as I stated, lasts a whole workday. Now, in terms of quality of the smell, I would definitely say again, there's no alcohol burn off here. So it could again, it compares with the later releases of the Armoff house, which is that the quality of the smell is very good, and the smell that it's trying to clone, it clones it very, very well. But if you were to compare it to the Real Thin, I would say that Oud Bergamot from Joe Malone, from what I remember, again, it feels like it's a scent that has more texture than this. That smell feels and smells like it's in 3D, whereas this is the same smell but in 2D, if that makes sense. But definitely I'm going to be keeping this because I've always been trying to find a fresh oud based fragrance, and this definitely provides that. And you can't go wrong. Again, this is the same cost, I think. Actually, I'm not sure. Yeah, this is actually a little bit cheaper, just $2 cheaper, but it's basically $30 Canadian, okay, for both the scented candle and the fragrance itself. So yeah, you can't go wrong with this house. And again, they clone this house, Jenny Glow. It clones pretty much all of the popular releases from the Joe Malone fragrance house or fragrance line, okay. Now, to end off the video, I wanted to bring this sort of hidden gem or fragrance that hasn't been talked as much as I would like it to have been talked about to this point. And that's this cheap hidden gem known as Lomani AB Spirit. Okay, so there were already a couple of reviewers who talked about this fragrance, specifically Coach Rob 619, I believe, and Joya Min. And other than that, I think those are the only 2 reviews that I can find on this fragrance. And I think that's a shame because this fragrance, this is I would say it's an original release. It doesn't really directly clone any fragrance that I know of. It doesn't smell exactly like any fragrance that I know of. But let me just show you the presentation. This is basically like a tin foil. Yeah, it's a tin foil type package. It does feel sturdy, and when you open it, yeah, you get this sort of semi-niche type presentation with this picture of a couple standing in front of the Eiffel Tower, and it says "Find your way, follow your spirit." And then you have the fragrance here inside here, black. This is a 100 ml Eau de Toilette, I believe. Is it Eau de Toilette? Made in France, of course. Eau de Toilette. Let me see. Yeah, it's Eau de Toilette. Okay. So this fragrance, I got this for 100 ml, $20. I would say it's a very good deal for that. But this fragrance, you know what it smells like? If I were to just simplify it, it basically smells like a lightly scented men's lotion, body lotion, with a mothball type scent infused with that. So if I were to make a comparison, I'm going to show you in a second a comparison with a fragrance I already have in my collection, but if I were to make another comparison, I would say this kind of smells like Bath and Body Works white musk combined with the smell of mothballs, right? And that mothball smell, I think, is what kind of adds the masculine edge to this fragrance. But yeah, this fragrance is good. I would say it's for what it is. I mean, you would think that it's going to be cheap smelling, but it's not. And the spray is nice too. You can see there, it's actually very strong. You can see that clear mist, or you see the thickness of the mist there. But the spray is good, and the smell, I'm smelling it right now. The scent of this is, as I say, I already described the scent, but in terms of the performance, it's very deceiving because when you first spray this, it could easily fill up a room when you first spray it, but it dies down very quickly within the first half hour, and it pretty much, I would say, lasts a full 5 to 7 hours about. But it really is going to project for the first half hour to the point where if you spray yourself 4 times or more, you probably could conceivably fill up a small room. So keep that in mind with this fragrance. However, the scent profile is such that it's one that can be used, I would say, as a signature scent all year round, especially for the office, especially for intimate settings. I don't think this will be good for the club though, but it could pretty much be good for all other occasions, including the gym. It's basically a men's scented lotion with mothballs, with that mothball smell added onto it. And it's the eucalyptus note, by the way, that's causing that mothball type smell with this fragrance. But terms of what's causing the scented lotion type smell, that would be the musk, the rose, and the iris notes combined to give that impression with in this fragrance. Unfortunately, I won't be keeping it only because I already have a fragrance that is not exactly the same, but is in the same ballpark, and that's Keton Man. Keton Man, and I don't want to make this video about that fragrance, but Keton Man is essentially trying to combine different elements of 3 popular fragrances: Creed Aventus, Dior's Fahrenheit, and Green Irish Tweed. And in my opinion, it doesn't. This fragrance, although the quality is definitely there, it sometimes comes off of my skin as a scent that is not exactly 100% sure what it's trying to accomplish. It's trying to do too much in one fragrance, with the type of gasoline type smell from the violet leaf, trying to be, Dior's Fahrenheit, and it has some of that, I don't know if there's lemon verbena in this, but it kind of has that lemon verbena type grassy type element that you get from Green Irish Tweed, and then on top of that it has pineapple. It's trying to infuse this fruitiness in it, trying to copy the open in that sense of Creed's Aventus. But it's all these scents that it's trying to do, and all together it kind of creates a bit of a musky smell that is a little similar to this, but when you put them on and you smell them side by side, you'll see that there's a clear difference. But because I already have this, which I bought a while ago, and I can obviously liquidate as fast as I can liquidate this, because I just bought this recently, I can return it and get my money back. Unfortunately, I won't be keeping this, but if I had to do it all over again and I had to make a choice, I would actually have bought this and kept this and not have added this to my collection. All right, so that just tells you how, and this is obviously more expensive than this fragrance actually, because Keton is a brand that I think does men's formal wear, and that part of this brand's product line is very expensive, right? But Lomani, as you know, is a house that's been around, and all their fragrances are fragrances you can get on the cheap. And this fragrance definitely should not be ignored as a hidden gem. If you like the smell that I described with this fragrance, okay, I would say it's something that you should definitely consider adding to your collection, especially if you're a beginner. You want to smell in a way that's a little bit more sophisticated than your typical mall designer fruity blue deodorant type fragrance. Okay, like, comment, subscribe, holla back.